YB stays on your neck.
The first round goes, I don't even think I got a sweat on me. The second round goes, I don't think I got a sweat on me.
With that right hand. Yeah, right hand.
Joshua boxing well, but gotta say Ruiz took that shot really well. That was a solid left hook.
Anthony Joshua, fight number 23 for the...
The third round goes, I had no intention of hurting Ruiz at this. Well, I do have intention of hurting him, but I didn't think this was the time to hurt him. I wanted to wear him down a few rounds before. 1-2, slip, uppercut, hook, boom, Ruiz is down. I thought, perfect. I've gone in there now looking for that second shot. 1-2 lands. Tried the same combination again. Boom, he rolls it. Boom on the chin. No problem. Boom, boom on the back of the head. I thought, oh no, what's happening here?
Yo, my dance, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and obviously hit the bell for notifications. So we just heard there from Anthony and Cash Cow Joshua. Basically, given it's been about 2 months now, I know he did a reaction maybe a week after the fight, but he didn't really, he was mainly discussing rumours. This, he really put the footage of the fight on the screen and broke it down round by round. Now, I've got a few key thoughts I want to give on the things he's been talking about here. And in my opinion, it's a little bit worrying. Now, anyway, let's take it from the top. So first of all, AJ talks about the first 2 rounds, and he seems quite positive about it. And he seems quite like as if it was all going normal. Does that make sense? He's saying, oh yeah, he's like almost not bragging, but he's positive. He's saying, yeah, well, the first 2 rounds, I didn't even break a sweat. And I'm thinking, is that normal? Like, as an example, Mike Tyson would always talk about coming in the ring in a full sweat. He's ready to go, ready to be bang on it. And you're right, AJ. You did look like you didn't have a sweat on you because you was cruising. Look on your screen now. You'll see the punch stats. AJ's, if you look, I can't bother to get up now, but basically, if you look around on the internet, type into Google, in fact, I might bring it up, I don't know, it'll either be on your screen now or it won't, but essentially, Anthony Joshua's, historically, throughout his career, has averaged 46 punches a round. The heavyweight average is around 45, 46 too. This fight, the first 2 rounds he was doing 26 punches, 25 punches, half of the average of what he normally does. So when you're sitting there saying, oh, yeah, I wasn't even sweating, that's not a good sign in my opinion. I'd rather you be throwing 50 punches and sweating than be throwing 20 and giving, because you've got to remember, going into the fight, AJ to Andy Ruiz is Mike Tyson. And every round that goes by, Ruiz is in there thinking, you know what, this dude, I'm all over this dude, I'm backing this dude up. Them first 2 rounds, AJ was running around the place like a fairy, backing up. So I don't understand, and it worries me about AJ's, bearing in mind it's 2 months on now. If I was in AJ's team, we would have sat down and talked about you weren't aggressive enough. Or never mind being aggressive enough. I know AJ's team want to turn him into Twinkle Toes, but at least if you're going to be Twinkle Toes, to Tyson Fury's, to be fair to Tyson Fury, at least his jab's going. At least does that make sense? He's doing that back foot game well. Or to a better ability than AJ was. If you're going to be running around backwards, your jab needs to be pumping, doubling it up, tripling it up. You can't be throwing singles 20 times around and thinking that's going to be breaking anyone down. And it's just worrying that we're 8 weeks on now, and AJ's looking back at them first 2 rounds and thinking it was all hunky dory. I'm sorry, I don't think it was. I struggle in that fight. Them first 2 rounds. 8 weeks after the fight now, AJ should be looking back saying, you know what guys, them first 2 rounds actually, I gotta be honest, my output wasn't high enough. I allowed Ruiz to get too comfortable too early. And that said, people are saying, oh well, he's not Mike Tyson. I'm not asking for him to come forward, slipping, sliding and trying to get on the inside immediately. I'd prefer him to do that. However, if you're gonna be a jab guy, you've got to get your jab going. You've got to get it landing. AJ didn't throw one double or 1 triple the whole fight. And the singles was like, when you're throwing, as I was saying, being half of your average, throwing half the punches you normally do, how are you going to break someone down doing that? Especially someone like Ruiz, what do we know? Come forward fighters, if you want to be Lennox Lewis or Tyson Fury or Ali, your jab needs to be going. 20 punches ain't going to cut it. I'm sorry. Ruiz, to his credit, he's an above average fighter. Simple as that. You're not going to beat above average fighters with 20 punches around, in my opinion. Maybe AJ's training team, maybe all the tennis coaches and all the football coaches, maybe they know something. Listen, I've told people before, I'm not making out I'm some boxing god, or I know, I'm just saying my opinion. I believe you're not going to beat an average fighter with 20 punches around. But then, like I said, maybe AJ's team will prove me wrong. Maybe they'll be able to butter Ruiz up with 20 punches around. Let's see how that works out for him. So, in that regard, in them first 2 rounds, from my point of view, there was nothing positive to be said. And this is what I don't understand. Maybe people have criticised me in the past, in general, in my life. I'm probably more of a pessimist. I always tend to look at the bad things, or the bad side of everything. However, on a serious note, in the comments below, on a serious note, yeah, tell me, in them first 2 rounds from AJ, genuinely, I'm not gonna bash no one for your opinion. Genuinely, name me a couple key things that AJ did well in them first 2 rounds. Seriously, what can you really say? You know what, he did this well, or yeah, that was noticeable. At least in his other fights, if nothing else, you can say, well, he was constantly applying pressure. Look at look at any of his fights. Joseph Parker fight. The Joseph Parker fight was allegedly his most boxy fight as such, and he was coming forward the whole damn time, applying pressure. That's the kind of fighter I thought he was. I don't know. Ever since this last Ruiz fight, everyone seems to want to tell me, "Oh no, IB, no. Josh was an outboxer. Josh was an outboxer. Yeah, Joshua runs backwards." I've never seen it. I feel like it's been some sort of. I feel like I've changed universes. I've gone somewhere else where Joshua's all of a sudden a Tyson Fury 2.0. From what I've seen of AJ, he's always coming forward. And that moves on to my next point as well. That's what worries me even more. So, not only was the fact that there was no output in the fight, and not only has AJ not addressed the fact that he was outputting half of his career average, that should have been addressed in this video, in my opinion, for his fans. I would have liked to have heard him say, "Oh, you know what, guys, them first 2 rounds, in all honesty, after talking with my team, we noticed I should have been doing, if I was going to play that back foot game, I should have been outputting at least my average, at least 45, 46 punches. If anything, if you want to be piddling around on the back foot, I'd like to have seen 50 or 60 punches, if the truth be damn known, yeah? But put that to one side. Not only was that missing, the other part was, or the lack of introspection, in my opinion, was, since when, like, this whole style change, this whole attitude change, like, why is no one talking about, or why isn't AJ or anyone from his team talking about this whole attitude change? Why is it, like, AJ seems to have brushed over the whole fact, like, we've just heard him there talk about the first 2 rounds. He hasn't explained to me why he was running backwards for the first time in his career. Why is that not a big topic? I don't understand it. Like, it's like, for me, AJ was the UK Mike Tyson. I don't know about anyone else. Yes, of course, he's not as purely ferocious and purely offensive as Mike Tyson. But come on, man, how was he built? When you think about AJ, when I say build, I mean, how was he built up? How was he promoted? Was he promoted as a oh yeah, you're probably gonna get a 12-round decision? No, he was promoted as a UK Mike Tyson, the UK's answer for Mike Tyson, and that's the way he's all of his best fights. All of his best wins have been explosive performances. All of them. He got slayed for the Joseph Parker performance, and on hindsight, after that Ruiz performance, he was aggressive in the Parker fight, marching forward, constantly marching forward, and the referee breaking up in the middle. But AJ was the one chasing Parker, and people complained about that, if you remember rightly. People were complaining that was too boxy. Yet this Ruiz fight happens, where my man's literally running backwards, factual. But yet after the fight, 8 weeks later, you'd think he would have sat down and talked through it with his team. He'd be able to tell us, you know what, and this is what I'm trying to say, it's all a big circle for me, because something's not right here, and it worries me, because somewhere down the line, in my opinion, from the signs I'm getting, some responsibility isn't being taken. AJ in this video also said, oh yeah, there was nothing wrong with me, psychologically I was okay, I wasn't knocked down, I wasn't concussed, I wasn't having a panic attack. But yeah, okay, if that was okay, if there wasn't some extenuating circumstances, if you weren't KO'd, if you didn't have a concussion, why, for the first time in your career, were you running backwards? And it's not only running backwards, like, if from my experience in boxing, the times my punch output has been noticeably lower has been when I've been scared, or when I've been shut down. If someone's too big or too long and I feel like I can't do anything, my output's going to go to 0. So that also explains it. AJ was fighting scared, low output, running backwards, backing up. Never seen him back up before. His output's half of his career average. Do you understand that? And he's talking about this fight as if it was a standard performance. That's worrying for me. Only 4 months to go now. I'm worried. I'm sorry, I am. From what I've seen now, this isn't... the week after the fight, you know what? Whatever. People are licking their wounds and whatever. But 8 weeks now, you should know exactly what went wrong. And from where I'm sitting, it seems they're all just saying, "Oh no, it was just a bad performance." It wasn't just a bad performance. For me, the Joseph Parker was just a bad performance. Or the Takam fight was just a bad performance. This was not just a bad performance. It was a shocker, a complete shocker in every type of the word. So I'm wondering if and when. Maybe, I know there'll be a lot of AJ fans who will be saying that, "Oh no, YB, he just doesn't want to give away all his secrets." Okay, let's see then. Let's see. I just feel people are being way too optimistic. AJ, from what I've heard here, like I said, I don't know him from Adam. They might have talked about all this, but from this video, from the public part, I can comment on. I'm worried that he's talking here as if, yeah, it was going great. I knocked him down and then I got caught. If that wasn't how the fight went, I'm sorry, it wasn't. It was not all fine. I came out and like I keep saying every time, but in my notepad, during the first few rounds, I wrote down, in fact, the only note I wrote down was, I literally wrote down, Tyson Fury, ? Because it started playing on my mind, because I remember before this fight, AJ was saying, "Oh yeah, I want to box more, I want to learn to box more," and stuff like that for the last few months. I mean, pretty much since the Klitschko fight, he's been saying that. So it stuck in my mind. I thought, oh, he's trying to show us some more boxing stuff. However, what worries me even more is, what do we know? In the Jarrell Miller build-up, he said, "Listen, after the Joseph Parker fight, I'm done with the boxing stuff. The Povetkin fight showed you lot, I'm straight knockouts now. I'm not playing about." Then we had the Jarrell Miller business. AJ said, "I'm here to brock people down, yeah, and knock people out." And then so that people can say, "Oh well, Jarrell Miller disappeared." But even in the Andy Ruiz build-up, he said, "I'm gonna knock him out for calling me a robot," yeah. And you've got to get him up. This is what worries me as well. The fact that it's a mentality. And I feel to an extent, this money business, man, money just seems to moisten people up good and proper. It seems to moisten them. They seem to lose that killer instinct. That's all I can think about. That's all that comes to mind. Because people are saying that, "Oh yeah, well he's finding it hard and all this business." I thought, he never found it hard before. When he was running through people, he didn't have a problem running through them then. Does that make sense? It's almost like now you get to the point where you're financially secure for generations, and you're thinking, you know what, and I understand it completely. Who wants to take licks in the face? No one does. But you need to be real with yourself at that point. If you honestly feel like you can't be the fighter you was, you need to hang it up for your sake and ours. Because I don't want to see another one of them ones. I told you before, I don't want to see that again. I understand you can make loads of money doing that, but come on. And to be fair, that he can do what he wants. He's his own man. I'm just saying from my point of view, I'd probably rob the bank as well, if I'm honest. But if you're going to rob the bank, you're going to get called out by the YB at least. All I'm saying is, and like I say, I keep repeating myself, but I'm hoping, I'm praying that they've had these conversations and they understand what's gone on here, what's gone on. All I'm saying is, AJ's best form is when he's been aggressive, smartly aggressive. In fact, and this is what I'm trying to say in terms of the training. AJ should have, like, people are, like, in the past he's been reckless, in the past he's been reckless and got caught, but that's what training is meant to do. AJ, in my opinion, should be sharpening his tools. He should be downloading information. He should be gaining IQ so he can be more smartly aggressive. I know it's an easy thing to say, but still, your skill should improve year on year. AJ should be able, his offense, he should be able to get off deadly combinations whilst defending himself. As your career goes on and you gain experience and you train and you train and you train, that's what training does. If you're training the right way. If you're working on particular skill sets. But it seems to be he's doing it, it's in that same thing he's been in the last 10 years. It doesn't seem to be that level of improvement. And now we see the Ruiz fight, and he hasn't mentioned anything about it. He hasn't mentioned anything about running backwards for 3 rounds. Is it maybe it's just me? Maybe my eyes are maybe there's something wrong with my eyesight or my brain, and I'm watching the Ruiz fight. Maybe AJ was marching forward in the Ruiz fight, and I'm the one that's deluded. But from my perception, he was way just off, man. The dude fought off. I've never seen him like that before. And if I'm wrong, someone please tell me the fight where AJ it's not as if you can say, well, why be? He got clocked with a big shot in the first 10 seconds, and that sharpened him up and that made him scared. He didn't get hit for the first 2 rounds, and he weren't throwing no punches. He was fighting scared. Why isn't he talking about that? And the numbers don't lie. The numbers do not lie. Why weren't you throwing average punches? Or an average amount of punches? Why were you scaling the side of the ring backwards? And I just hope that... Man, I don't know what to say. I feel like I'm going mad here. I really do. I feel like I'm going mad. Is it meaning that people keep saying, oh, don't worry, AJ's team have got it covered. He doesn't want to show us his best stuff. And I'm thinking, I hope so, but I can't be confident from the signs I'm seeing. From what I've heard in this video, he seems to think everything is irie from that first video, from that behind there. All he seems to think went wrong is that he got caught. That's not the case. And since he's been with McCracken, since Tony Sims has disappeared, it's gradually got worse. The Parker fight was his worst performance at the time, and now I feel AJ's devolved to the Ruiz fight now, where he thinks it's Tyson Fury. And as I said, it'd be one thing if he'd come out in this video and said, listen, I've worked out I was pussying around too much. Or I've worked out I'm not a boxer no more. I've worked out my best deal is a tight ass guard, and I'm coming forward. I want my fans to know there's no more fucking about. I'm marching forward in this fight. And if I get caught, fuck it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And people say, oh, well, yeah, oh, you can't do that, yeah. So, AJ's Tyson Fury 2.0, oh, yeah, you can't do that. Listen, he got caught anyway, do you understand that? He got caught fanning around, throwing no punches on the back foot anyway. You might as well go in there and do what you've done for the first 22 fights of your career. Do what's been working, Jesus, no? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Do you know what I'm trying to say? But anyway... Maybe as I've said before, I'm pessimistic. Maybe I'm being wrong. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. I'm not hating. I want it. I want my words to maybe resonate somewhere. That's all I can say. And if I've said it before, if come November, he looks his best form and he whacks Ruiz up, I'll put my hands in the air and say, listen, man, fair play to these dudes. They got it right and I got it wrong. No problem doing that. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing. Before I go, just quickly, the other point that I feel has been rushed over by AJ and his team potentially is the knockdown. He knocks Ruiz down and he says, yeah, great, I wasn't expecting it, but yeah, I knocked him down. But then he doesn't address the fact that he didn't try and soften Ruiz up. The whole throughout this fight, he never tried to soften Ruiz up. He never. You can't sit there and say, well, YB, that jab was fuddering. That jab was thumping for 3 rounds. It's hard enough to soften up anyone in 3 rounds. You've really got to be giving it some. AJ would have to be putting out 60, 70 punches a round for the first 3 rounds to really soften up someone who's hungry and determined. You're not. How many heavyweight or any fights do you know people get softened up in 3 rounds? It normally takes 6 or 7 or 8. So on that, with that in mind, in terms of AJ's IQ. He puts Ruiz down. He should be knowing at that point, listen, I've only been throwing 25 punches around. Ruiz can't be that softened up. Also, look at Ruiz's legs and Ruiz's eyes. Ruiz wasn't running backwards, stumbling. He stood in the middle of the ring with you. So you should have known at that point. But he doesn't. He just says, oh yeah, I put him down. That was pretty good. And then I came forward and started throwing the same combination again and again. And when you throw the same combination again and again, that's how Ruiz caught him. He mentions it here. He says, yeah, I think it was the 1-2 or whatever. I threw the 1-2, it landed. I threw the 1-2 again, it missed, and I got caught on the back of the head. It's like, what was you expecting? Was you expecting him just to maybe that was the case, you expected him just to fall over, but I would have liked AJ to have articulated that. That's a mistake. Yeah, we all make mistakes, we're humans. But he hasn't articulated it. He just seems like I got caught and yeah, I'll put him down and I got caught. That's not how it worked. That's not how the story went. It was a lack of judgment which put you in that position. You weren't buttering him up. You weren't buttering him up, and he wasn't ready to go. That's the end of it. And it was a lack of IQ which put you in that situation. You should never have been running forward on that particular dude after what had happened the first 2 rounds. But that's my opinion. I'm not a professional, as people like to remind me. I'm not professional. I'm a casual who don't know anything. But that's my 2 pennies anyway.